And you're not here. Oh, there you are. All right. Hey, we got it working. What is going on,
All right.
everybody? I hope everybody is doing well. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm trying something new on collab stuff. So but we got a very dear friend that I even checked, dude. I would say it's been like 7 years. Seven fucking years since we streamed together, okay? This is Spunky1991. He was a content creator a generation ago. Okay, let's say a generation. And thankfully, we've been talking about kind of getting together and talking about the Eagles and stuff. So he is here. And what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. How about you, Joey?
I'm good. So yeah, I mean, we're just gonna shoot the shit on. I want to thank everybody being here. By the way, what's going on, Richie? What's going on, Lord of Darkness? What's going on, buddy? Eagles Uncensored, Chris Coffin. What's going on, buddy? We got Acid Hooper. Welcome to the Camper Tier, my friend. Thank you so much for joining up. Appreciate it, buddy. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot to discuss. I mean, and I haven't really. Other than doing the shakedowns, I haven't done collabs like this in a while. And I figured, you know what? We talk about the Eagles a lot off fucking screen anyway. So let's jump on, do a stream, and we'll kind of talk about some things. How are you feeling so far from obviously winning the Super Bowl last year, the offseason the Eagles had, and now going into, another week of football where there's a lot on the line this coming week, and just your thoughts in general.
Well, coming off that Super Bowl, obviously a great feeling for all of us Eagle fans, but for me, about a month after that, I kind of just got, got away from football for a little while, but as the season has gone on now, my focus has been on this season. So far this year, I've been very conflicted. Like the team has not been consistent at all this year. They look pretty rough at times. I've tried to be patient with the offensive play calling, but so far this year, I'm just I'm very up and down about this season. Obviously losing to Denver, then turning around and getting blown out by the Giants. I think just like all Eagle fans right now, we're just hoping that they figure something out this week and they get back on track. Because last year is last year. Get off that Super Bowl high, and y'all need to figure things out and get right. Get yourself back on track for this year. Because what happened last year is last year. So
Yeah.
yeah, right now I'm like I said, my focus is on hopefully they figure this out. The offensive coordinator Kevin Patula needs to figure. Him and Jalen Hurts and playmakers need to get together and get it going. Defense has been like against the Giants, they were just absolutely terrible. And but yeah, hopefully against the Vikings, they figure it out and we have a good Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like it's almost like they got like the blame game is going on right now. It's Hurts, it's execution, it's play calling. It's almost everything at this point. And then we got that mixed in with the trade deadline. Is a trade really gonna fucking matter in another week? I think another couple weeks, but right before their bye week, I think it's the end of the trade deadline. So they only have like not much time. Is a trade really worth it at this point? Is it really going to come down to this game against Minnesota this week? I mean, to be embarrassed by the New York Giants last Thursday where, Kevin Patula only had like a couple hours of sleep. He worked his ass off to get that game plan going,
Yeah.
I'm just tired of hearing Sirianni, tired of hearing, Sirianni, I could literally quote every damn thing. It's, the adversity, we're going through adversity. I believe in our guys, and every time he's asked a question about doing better off a certain position, he's always saying it's everybody. It's not just one person. I feel like he's dodging so many questions. I understand, like, he's trying to keep everything above the surface. And Patullo is almost the same exact personality when talking about this team in general, and I don't think Batul has taken any type of accountability. I've never heard any nothing. I mean, I never heard like, oh, I need to call the plays better. It's always like, we or everybody else. It's never him all the damn time. So I pretty much after that Giants game that there was no way of coming back from this. I mean, this might be like the week where things really have to come together. They really do.
I agree. I absolutely agree. This week right here is gonna it's gonna go a long way to tell us exactly how this team overcomes adversity. Losing 2 games in what 5 days. It's gonna tell us a lot. We're gonna sit back and watch this game on Sunday. How this team not only begins the game but how they finish as well. It's gonna be very revealing for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Michael Borowski says, sadly, I don't believe for a single second that Howie will do a damn thing. He thinks he's a douche. Let me say this. Like, I'm like one of the fans that's pretty much on like, yeah, trade is great. Like, oh yeah, like what are you looking for, bro? Like, because as far as the offseason goes till now, they've gotten the cheap out of the cheap. They haven't been aggressive at all. And I get it. Like, you want to save some cap. I get it. There might be some what's been the biggest mistake what has been the biggest mistake from the offseason to the regular season and how it's affecting us now? What is the biggest thing that pisses you off the most?
Where do I start? Where do
I
I
mean,
start?
I mean,
Uh,
like, say, like, is Howie Roseman was Howie Roseman? Do you think Howie Roseman was aggressive, or was he really passive in the offseason program going into to get this roster ready for the regular season?
Well, in the offseason, Roseman let a lot of guys go, which that's natural coming off of a Super Bowl because guys are gonna go elsewhere to get big paydays.
Hmm.
But when I look at it, uh, you know, obviously Makai Becton on a that was a huge loss to let him go. I still wish that we would have kept him.
Hmm.
Right now, looking at the corner position, that's been the biggest glaring hole for me at this moment. Um, I've been trying to have hope that eventually, we get that figured out. But after watching the Dory Jackson the past, the early in the season, and then watching Keely Ringo, it's a glaring hole that we definitely have to address, and it's going to come down to really how this team looks the next couple of weeks, whether Roser makes a move or not. Because quite frankly, Joey, if this team is continuing to struggle and they're losing, they continue to lose, I I can see Roseman actually trading away some pieces. Just being honest, it's going to come down to how this team looks the next couple of weeks. But for me, the biggest glaring hole has been the O line has not been the same. Letting Becton go, that was a big loss, and
Yeah.
like I said, that corner spot, that number 2 corner spot is a big issue at this moment. We don't have that true number 2 corner guy. Like we know, obviously number 1 is we know Quinyon Mitchell is that number 1 guy. I have no concerns at all at the slot position. I don't have any no concerns there. But that number 2 corner spot has been the biggest issue. The biggest issue for me. And of course, the edge rush. The edge
Mm.
rush has also been an issue as well. And we got the big news this week that Zadarius Smith retired, which I don't think anybody saw that coming. It was a big shocker to me for sure, by far. So yeah, they got some glaring holes, and they got such little time to figure it out. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
Zadarius Smith was like, "Bro, I'm out. I don't." I mean, it was like not even 2 weeks ago. Zadarius Smith was like, I want to stay. He's like, I got a lot of juice left in the tank. He said it right in the locker room. He's like, I'm not close to retiring. Then the Eagles lose against the 1-4 Giants at that moment, and he retires not even a few days later. So, I mean,
Well,
it was. Yeah, go ahead.
let
Go
me ask,
ahead.
let me ask this: do you think the Eagles, the way they've been playing the past few weeks, had any impact on his decision to retire, or do you think he just wanted to retire? Like, what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think like when he signed with the Eagles, he thought he was gonna ride this cloud the entire time, and he was gonna like get his easy sacks, be in this rotation, and kind of just like sit there and play his way to a Super Bowl. Like I think that's what he was gonna do, and obviously that didn't happen. But from him saying that the other a couple weeks ago, where he was like, he felt like he was gonna stay here. Now he's gone. I mean, you got nobody, and obviously health hasn't been a great thing with a lot of positions. Um, but edge rusher in general, like I had high hopes for Nolan Smith. I mean, he's still able to come back unless he comes back and has like a 10 sack year. I don't know how I feel about him. And Jalen Hurts, I think, is a big disappointment. I mean, he's a third round pick. I can't put too much on him, but from what he showed at the end of last year, I thought there would have been a little bit more. But it's just been, yeah, it's been nothing but just laziness at this point, and there's nobody else that we can really count on the edge. Um, so
Yeah.
that's where we're kind of at. Because when I look at edge rusher, especially, any play to that side, whether it's an outside run or anything, really anything to the outside, it's hard to contain because you just don't have anybody there, and I feel like that's been, like you said, it's been one of the weaknesses, and CB2 has been one of the biggest weaknesses, and there was news that just came out today on the Eagles and why they apparently they had a contract, and this was from Jeremy Fowler and a couple others that came out with news today on the whole Isaiah Rodgers thing. Apparently they had a contract. I don't know. They had a contract ready a few days before this, it started, and I don't know. I guess the Vikings offered Isaiah Rodgers, the 2-year, 14, 15 million, whatever it was. And I don't know if like the Eagles had a chance to match the contract or he went back to them. I don't think he even went back to them. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what was going on. So
Yeah. Yeah, when he signed with the Vikings, I mean, I looked at the contract that he signed with the Vikings, and when that happened, I was thinking to myself, there's no way that we could have, we couldn't, match that. No, it wasn't like a super large contract that he signed with
hmm,
him. So, him losing him definitely was a huge loss in at that slot corner position, no doubt about it. So
yeah.
yeah, you know, secondary is, like I said, when it comes to our number one corner, Quinyon, no concerns about him, no concerns at the no at the no at the slot. But for me, that number two spot has just been the biggest weakness. And you go back and watch that Giants game, Jackson Dart was going heavily at Keely Ringo all game, and
Hmm.
for good reasons, because almost every time he was throwing that ball to Keely Ringo, there was a pass interference on the play. So no, they better figure something out, because Adoree Jackson, no, I've seen enough of him. I had hope that Keely Ringo would eventually, step up and step into that spot, but so far he does not look good at all. And I'm at the point now where I'm off the Keely Ringo train. I just keep it honest. I've seen enough of him. I truly have. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's really one position where you really don't want to have an issue. We're back to square one at this shit once again. I mean, thank God. I mean, it looks like this week. I mean, Quignon's. I mean, it looks like he's coming back this week, which is good. So, he did practice today. But not even trying to go like even in the offseason, like, look, you don't want to sign Slay, fine. You want to let him walk, fine. You want to let Isaiah Rodgers walk, fine. But there was no attempt to at least trade for even a mid tier type guy, someone that's not a lot of money, obviously, but just a mid tier type guy, or try to go after somebody. Like they just left it alone. They said, you know what? Let's put all the pressure on a 4th round pick in Keely Ringo. We all said this is not good, and it really all started with the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade. It really started with that, and we were like, what the fuck are they doing right now?
Yeah.
And I think the safety, safety's affected us. Like, I don't know what to think of Makuba at this point. If we even, he's flashed, and I think that's really about it. They decide to get a guy that's a little bit lighter on his feet. Is a more of a hard hitter that could cover a lot better on the back end. But it seems like sometimes he suffers through his tackling because of his size, and sometimes he just doesn't show up. So I don't think we're set at that position at all. I don't know what happened behind the scenes with Chauncey and the team. I'm still trying to figure that out because it's so like out of nowhere. It seems like the Eagles are the only team that can really handle his personality.
Well, here's the thing about, you bring up Chauncey Gardner Johnson. At the time when it happened, I know we were all the same, like what the hell are they
Yeah.
doing? But Chauncey did an interview shortly after being traded. He said that, he didn't take it personal. He understood that it was a business decision. The Eagles are getting ready to, they got to pay Jalen Carter next all season. they got to figure out what they're gonna do with Jordan Davis. I love Chauncey. I love his attitude. The passion that he brought to our team. But we also
Yeah.
have to look at times that Chauncey was getting burned at times last year as well. And they know that contract that he had, that he had signed the previous all season, that was that was a business move. It truly was. And it's just ironic now that he got cut by the Texans and then he signed with the Baltimore Ravens and he just got cut yet again he just got cut yet again. So now he's a free agent. You know, there's a big question mark there. Why are teams constantly, signing and releasing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? That to me, that's definitely um, an eye opener, if you will. But
Yeah.
I like the guy a lot. He was a his emotion, his passion. He could be a little bit of a head case at times, but the guy was definitely a very good leader in that secondary for sure. And our secondary, our safety positions definitely hasn't been the same without him. That's for sure, no doubt about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no. I mean, you look at like even when when Denver was coming back, sorry, when Tampa Bay was coming back, in that game, like when there was some passes here or there, like one where Makuba was kind of sitting there and like he had his head turned, like not like could have got an easy pick right there. Like, and then look, he's a raw player, he's a very raw player, so I'm not gonna shit on Makuba so much, okay, but I think the main thing has not only been, just play calling in general on both sides, but I think health has been, like I said, health has been a big issue. We haven't been this injured in a while, and this is the year where, yeah, we're injured pretty good. Last year, we didn't really have issues with injuries. So Jalen Carter is playing on Sunday, which is great. I mean, this man, like you said, he's supposed to get, got to pay this guy, going to give him a contract. Okay. And hoping for the best. I mean, he's been sorely missed from this defense ever since, spitting on a guy for the first game of the season. I
Yeah,
mean, I've never missed this guy more than ever.
yeah.
So I think he's definitely hurting or, not being around, but getting injured on and off, whether he's out of shape or what's going on there. Obviously, you could be helping these edge rushers a lot, but they're gonna be doubling on Jordan Davis, doubling on Jalen Carter. These outside edge rushers have the one-on-one matchup and they can't win their matchup because they're just not good from a talent standpoint. Um, Offensive line, I think, has been the worst. And I think it's been affecting almost everything that we're doing, not just the play calling. So I don't know how you feel about the
Yeah.
offensive line this year.
No, I agree 100% with you. The O line has just not been they have not been good. Jordan Mailata was getting beat pretty bad in that Giants game, and the O line is like I said. Mekhi Becton. To me that was a big loss. Let him walk. Free agent to go to what did he go to the Chargers? For? Yeah, he went to the
Yeah.
Chargers. That to me that was a big loss there. You know, uh, and it felt like we could have resigned him from a reasonable deal. Like he made it very clear that he wanted to stay in Philadelphia. He was willing to work with obviously Roseman to make that happen. So to me that was that sucked a lot. Obviously Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickinson, both of those guys, especially Dickinson, been battling injuries. No, the running game has struggled. The running game as a whole has definitely struggled. Saquon Barkley has yet to have a 100-yard rushing game this year. That to me, that's the same. If you would have told me we're going into week 7 and Saquon Barkley still has not had a 100-yard rushing game this year, if you would have told me that coming to the season, I would have told you crazy. No, there's no way that's not gonna no that's gonna be the case. But
Yeah.
it's just been a weird, very weird season so far, especially with that, like I said, that old line, and hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully after a 10-day rest, hopefully these guys are, guys that have been battling injuries are, they're ready to go against the Vikings on Sunday,
Yeah.
because we definitely got to get back on track.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost hand in hand between the injuries and the play calling, and you're not making the adjustments off the injuries. I don't think Malata's had a great year. I think after the back surgery for Jurgens, I think he hasn't really been the same, or he's maybe not fully healthy. Like Dickerson is back at practice this today. He's already back at practice. It's like, is this guy back way too soon? Like, I just how I feel, because I feel like he's like they're bringing him back quick, and then he's gonna get hurt again, or he's gonna have a shoulder, he's gonna have an elbow, he's gonna have like, I honestly just wanted them to sit him until the bye week, like off the bye week, so like he's good. But obviously
Yeah.
the Eagles need him, because Brett Toth is just not he's just not cutting it, and the Giants were just running stunts on him all fucking night last Thursday, and that wasn't working. So, obviously Hurts has been struggling, and you talk about the run game with Saquon Barkley, where they only ran from, two different plays last week. They didn't do much last week. I mean, they haven't done anything at all with him, and I think not getting him going is, taking the pressure off Hurts is a big problem. Like I said, 2 formations from the run game last week. That's it. I mean, if I see one more fucking handoff up the middle, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because that's all I've really been seeing.
Well, the past few weeks, the offense has become very pass happy, which don't get me wrong. I understand trying to get AJ involved. I understand trying to get Devontae, trying to get obviously Dallas Goedert, all those guys in the pass game going. But we cannot get too far away from what's our identity, which is the run game. And they just have to figure out a better mixture of getting the running game going that will open up things in the passing game. And it just feels like the offense has just been like they just been trying to cater to the pass game way too much, in my opinion, the
Mhm.
past few weeks. They just got to figure out a better mixture. Kevin Patula, I'm trying my best to be patient. Sometimes I question, is it really Kevin Patula, or are we back in to Nick Sirianni calling the offense? That sometimes I question that. I truly do, because the offense has just been it's been very lackluster, to say the least, for sure. So
Yeah, it's like, every time Nick comes off a successful year, um, it's almost as if he hires an idiot to be, to kind of be next to him, and like, what, 2021, whatever. I mean, you gave the play calling to Shane Steichen at one point, a quarter down into the season, and then you switch, and then you switch to, Brian Johnson, and then you switch now to, then you have success, last year, and then you switch now to Kevin Patullo. So it hasn't been working out. And all Nick is pretty much saying, I mean, he's not giving too much away every week. He's not saying too much. I mean, what he's really telling us is that, like, he's seen some promising things from this offense. I mean, look, you go from a couple, pretty much every game has been the tale of two halves at this point. They haven't really played a complete game yet. And we're kind of waiting. I was giving this thing until week 11, week 12 of the season. Then from the Tampa game to Denver, where the short passing game, that first half was great, and then they kind of strayed away from it. There's no using middle of the field, no slants, no crossers, none of that. Then this Denver game, they threw the deep ball, which you got 2 receivers that are stone cold fucking killers out there. They are, and they'll do a lot for you. But then they went fucking haywire. Like, they were reckless with the deep ball. They were just, just constantly. Like, they were forcing it. Like, you got to work for those deep plays. You got to work for it. Just like you got to work for the big run plays. If you're not, if you're running a play action fucking, you're backed up on near your end zone, you're running fucking a play action screen pass, and no one believes you're even going to, that Hurts is going to be accurate with the football. They're not going to be on their heels. They're going to have the get off on you every single time defensively. And that's why the offensive line is probably hurt, why they're vulnerable to these injuries. And that's why, we're having a rough time offensively. I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. And Jalen Hurts I think there's a mental thing going on, because he needs a supporting cast. He isn't Josh Allen. Okay. The guy could win us football games, but the supporting cast needs the collaboration between coordinator to his supporting cast has got to be on point. Otherwise, Hurts is going to look horrible. And we've seen this where Hurts is missing wide open guys. We saw this a couple years ago. When the
Yeah,
offense isn't fluid, this is what he's going to look like. But you know,
yeah. I mean, you go back to Hurts and mental. You're going back to that. There's that game against the Broncos. Wide open. AJ Brown. I'm not gonna really knock Hurts too much on that play because AJ Brown did kind of stop mid route. So
yeah,
that could have easily been a touchdown. And there was another pass in that game, a deep pass. I think it was John Mechie. Was it? I think it was John Mechie or was it the Jahan Dotson? I can't remember, but
it was
it
it
was
was Dotson. It was Dotson.
it was
Yeah.
Dawson. Okay. Yeah, he had a wide open Mechie, and then this game against the Giants, no deep pass downfield. He had a wide open Devontae Smith.
Mm.
Like then he overthrows Devontae Smith. If Devontae Smith catches that pass, he's gone. That's a touchdown.
Yeah.
So I mean, no overthrowing your receivers. He is no that's no those are the plays that hurt the most when you have a wide open field for a touchdown and the ball's being overthrown. So no, Jalen Hurts, man, he definitely has to get on better page for his receivers because those are plays that can be ultimately what decide who wins or loses the game, man. So definitely whatever he has going on mentally, he needs to figure it out. Needs to figure it out quickly. But the team as a whole needs to figure things out.
Yeah. Yeah. So even I think Xander from WIP, because I saw him put up a chart from Next Gen Stats a couple of days ago that I think Hurts is I think Hurts is the fifth slowest quarterback that holds onto the football. I think they rank all the quarterbacks that hold onto the football the longest. I think Hurts is the fifth slowest in the league, which really isn't good.
That's not a good stat. No,
No,
that's not good at all.
which means these. I mean, and I've seen these routes. I've seen the route combinations. I mean, they're pretty fucking regular. I mean, it's like an 8 to 10 yard go route. They stop, they turn around, boom. They're like that's it. I mean, that's all you're really getting. I mean, I want to see AJ Brown smile again. I want to see him just be himself again. Like I'm just dying to see that. And from what we heard this week, okay, we heard this week that there was a big meeting the other day. No, not by a Wawa or the fucking by the car. They didn't have like AJ Brown's like, nah, you just came up to me. We just met up in the parking lot for 2
Yeah.
seconds. It was an actual meeting with Kevin Patullo talking to the offense. It seemed like they've had an energized practice this week. It seems like a lot of feedback from the players, which is good. I just don't want all this positivity shit to be going on this week. They get into this game on Sunday, and then the morale just fucking drops because, it's almost like they're promising us that, and Saquon Barkley said, I think with an interview from John Clark, I think the other day, pretty much said, I don't want to give a scouting report, but we're excited to see what we're excited to work this week and see what we could do, and I'm hoping, they look somewhat normal and they play 4 quarters of football the right way. I'm not saying they got to go out there and fucking massacre the fucking, the Vikings, 40-0, but
That'd be nice, though.
it'd be great. It'd be great
Yeah.
because the one thing I don't want to be on top of the Giants beating us, and they haven't shut the fuck up all week. And look, I get it because they haven't beat the Eagles on prime time in a lot of years.
Yeah.
I think they have to know, and I understand it's probably clouded their judgment. They have to know that they didn't beat a good team last Thursday night. Okay, so if you thought that was the Eagles playing their best of what they could possibly, and I've seen the Eagles play their best, whether it's the first half to the Rams, the second half to the Tampa Bay, or it's the other way around, whatever. We've seen like what this offense can look like, and then we've seen them, play it safe and see what the coaching staff has to offer with this play calling. So if the Giants thought they really saw if they saw the best out of the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday night, they lost fair and square. I get it, but I think they're going to have a rude awakening, the rest of the year because there's still a lot of football left the rest of the schedule.
Well, for Giants fans, like we've all said, that was definitely like their Super Bowl. Beating the Eagles is something that Giant fans don't they don't get to experience very often in the last 20 years. So
Yeah,
yeah, of course, if I was a Giants fan, I'd be celebrating that as well. But you're right though, the Eagles were not at 100%. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, not having Jalen Carter out there was a huge loss. Quinyon Mitchell going out was huge as well. But I'm one of those Eagle fans. At the end of the day, they kicked their ass, and hopefully, that's what that lights a fire on this team, and they go out there on Sunday and they take care of business. As for you're talking about Saquon Barkley and players talking about the week they've had to practice. Right now. I'm at the point they have to prove it to me. I believe it when I see it. No, it's easier to say, oh, we feel like we got a game plan in place and we feel pretty good about where we're at right now. But you gotta show me. You gotta show me on that field. And I'm not just saying no, and it can't just be for like 2 quarters, one half, whatever. I need to see consistent, good football for 4 quarters. I'm not saying you gotta be perfect. I'm not saying that you can't make mistakes here and there, but I just need to see
Right.
this person. I just need this team to play consistent, and we have yet to get that this season. We know what this team is capable of. Obviously, they're the defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
We know that when this team is playing their very best football, they can beat anybody in the NFL. But the problem is execution. They have not executed to what we know that they're capable of execute to this point. So I
Yeah.
believe it when I see it. I know all this talk and stuff. Don't really mean much to me. They got to show me on the field.
Yeah,
I'm
no, it,
sorry.
it it doesn't mean a lot to me either because I'm just like, well, we still got a game Sunday, regardless of all the positive news. So, like, the last thing I want is to be embarrassed by Carson Wentz on Sunday.
Oh,
That's the icing on the cake to our season. If that's, I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer or anything. That I pretty much said after last week the season was fucking done because I think at this point it's like your defense checked out of that game mentally, and I thought, I was like, you know what, it's not the same. Before that Giants game, I was like, it's not really the same. It's not comparable to the 23 season, but as soon as that defense kind of checked out, and honestly, I can't really blame them because they don't even have a gasp of air, even being on the sideline for 2 seconds with that offense being on the field
yeah.
constantly. So it's really hard for a defense to play like that. They didn't play physical. I mean, Fangio, being the good coach that he is, he puts himself in front of the players and says, "Hey, I called some bad plays that night." Not this other fucking idiot. That's just like, well, we're running the ball better. We've had some good, no, stop with that. I mean, every time they mention a position, all the damn time, it's always that they like we played we played some complimentary football. We've had some good plays in the passing game, and they always try to make things look like there's not really an issue. And I get it, like the sky's not falling yet. I mean, you're 4-2 right now. I mean, you really have to win out these next couple of weeks. And when the Giants come to Philadelphia, you better fucking punch them in the mouth when they get in there. I'm telling you right now, like they win this game against the Vikings, great, but that Giants game, it might not be much of a challenge if they're playing at a high level. But let me tell you, like they better fuck them up when they come to Philadelphia. Like there's no fucking way you're gonna let them in here and do that same fucking bullshit again.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not quite there yet. When I s- when 'cause you're saying that you felt like, oh, the season might be over. I'm not quite there yet.
Hmm.
I still do have hope that this team will figure it out because we faced adversity last year as well, and they eventually got they eventually got together, and obviously we know what happened, but yeah, this game for me against the Vikings is huge. It is absolutely huge. If they lose this game and then they proceed to let the Giants come into Philadelphia and embarrass us in Philadelphia like they did at MetLife, then yeah, that's not good. That's not good. So yeah,
Yeah.
when it comes to the Giants, we need to I will talk about that game later, but but when we need to hit Minnesota in the mouth, and we need to hit them in the mouth early. I mean, not just early, but consistently throughout the game, and take care of business on Sunday. To me that's a big one. You cannot let Carson Wentz, get his revenge and beat us,
Hmm.
and beat us on Sunday. That
Yeah.
that would be ultimate humiliation for sure.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. So Ron Rice says, "I get it. It would take time to adjust, but why don't we just bring Dougie P back? He literally said he would even just as an offensive consultant. But Toilet, we're calling him but Toilet now. But Toilet can at least get him help since we're stuck with him. Yeah, we saw Doug was on, I think, Dan Silio's show and talked about, if they brought me in, sure, like, he pretty much said, it's not really the normal thing where a Super Bowl winning head coach goes to his original team to like be a consultant. He's been offered jobs the last few years. I mean, that's been another idea. The Eagles did that in 22, and Vic Fangio was really helping the offense kind of look at some, how to beat some defenses that are out there. So when Fangio came in 22 as a consultant for the year, so
Mhm.
are you on board hiring a consultant, or do you think giving this more time would be with those two idiots would be the right thing to do?
Well, this might be an opinion that a lot of Eagle fans may not agree with. I love Coach Dougie P. Dougie P. For all us Eagle fans, is always going to have a special place in our hearts. The first head coach to go win the Super Bowl, and yeah, he does know a lot, and maybe he could, be a good consultant. But my question is this: remember how this offense looked in 2018 after Frank Wright, became the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts?
Yeah.
The offense was not that good in 2018. They were not that, they were not too good either in 2019 and 20 either. Even though 2019 they made the playoffs, but
Right, right.
no, but one of the reasons why Doug Peterson is no longer the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles was because he didn't want, he wanted to hire his own coaches, and he didn't want to give up that control of when it comes to calling the offense. So I love Coach Peterson, but I don't know for sure if I'm not quite sure if he would be the right answer to come in and help with the offense.
Yeah.
I'm no, I no, I'm pretty conflicted about that. I love Peterson. Help us win our first Super Bowl, but I just don't. I'm not quite sure if he would be the guy, to bring in for that. Personally, I would love to bring in Frank Wright, bring him back myself, but
I mean, I mean, Frank Reich would probably be the right answer because at least, like, even though he's Nick Sirianni's friend, I mean, it's the last thing I fucking want here, but at least,
yeah,
like, he's got some experience. Like, at least there's experience. Like, Kevin Patullo's a passing game coordinator the last 4 or 5 years. I said this shit before. I said back, I don't know if it was early. I think it was I think we lost probably the last couple of weeks, probably. I don't know, but I've said it a few times. I said, well, Kevin Patullo, when he was about to get hired, I said, why is Kevin Patullo the right man for the OC job? And I said 23, right? Like when we were stuck with Brian Johnson being the scapegoat, and this was Nick's game plan 100% every single week. Why didn't the reins go to Kevin Patullo at the time? Like, why didn't we see Kevin Patullo take over play calling? Because at least if we saw that and he ended up doing okay, then I would say that this move would make sense for him to be the OC. But this promoting from within has been like a big problem. And originally, Doug's plan when he went to Jeffrey Lurie before he was fired was Press Taylor was going to be the fucking OC. Okay. And where did Press Taylor go when Dougie P left? He went right to Jacksonville. And guess what? What did they do that year? Absolutely fucking nothing. I don't know what
yeah,
the record was, but it was really bad. Okay. And the defensive coordinator for that year, if Dougie P stayed on, would have been Matt Rule, which was the right hand man. He was the right hand man for Jim Schwartz. I think he was one of the assistant defensive line coaches for Jim Schwartz. And I don't. And look, the Eagles in 24, they go out and they get a different defensive coordinator. Okay. I'm brain farting his name. The
what year?
Dallas OC. Yeah, the Dallas OC last year. I'm just forgetting his name.
Oh, God dang, you made me have a brain
Yeah,
fart. Yeah,
I'm literally just forgot.
Kellen
Kellen
Moore.
Moore. Sorry, I just
Yeah,
sometimes he hasn't been here a
yeah,
while, so sometimes I forget. Kellen Moore, like as much as it was a hire that we really kind of didn't want, but I thought it was a good hire because I've seen the way Kellen Moore runs his meetings and runs like how he goes over his playbook with the team and everything like that, and he's had obviously top 10 offenses with Dallas for at least his first 3 years in Dallas, and his fourth year I think they were like 15th or 16th or something like that. The best roster that Kellen inherited was last year because you didn't have a choking ass fucking quarterback. And that's pretty much how that went. And, he did a great job for us last year. And it's too bad we didn't throw him as much money as we probably should have. Um, because I was really afraid they were going to do this and Ken Patua was going to be the OC. And we're kind of paying the price for it now. But you can't change OCs right now. I mean, you can't. It's just to a point now where we've done changing. You change a coordinator middle of the season, and your season's pretty much done at that point if you got to do that. I mean, you're not like some lucky teams out there where Kansas City has had the same fucking defensive coordinator in Spag since what, 2018, 2019, and you
Yeah,
have no head coach, and you don't even have a fucking head coach right now that can call plays, which really sucks, and that hurts us probably the fucking most out of everything. So if this shit doesn't work out, it's really going to be a shame. What a waste of a year this is going to be with the amount of money you spend on your fucking offense, and you can't even get these guys involved. I mean, look, I don't care. Offensive line is hurt. Maybe they're struggling a little bit, but there's ways around that. There's ways to make adjustments off some of your fucking injuries, and they're not even helping that right now.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. You brought up Kellen Moore about throwing. You wish that they would have threw money at him. My thing about this, I definitely miss Kellen Moore a lot. I think most of us, pretty much we all do at this point. But I honestly don't know if that, even if you had thrown a lot of money at Kellen Moore, I don't know if that would have, if he would have taken that. I think Kellen Moore was one of those guys that he wanted to prove himself
Yeah.
um, as a coordinator. But I think ultimately his dream was to be a head coach. So
Hmm.
the moment the Saints, gave him that opportunity, he took it.
Yeah.
We are fortunate though that we have Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator. He's not
Yes.
going anywhere. No, Vic Fangio's made it very clear when it comes to being a head coach. He's been there, he's done that, and the reason why he came he came to Philadelphia, back to Philadelphia, was because his family lives in Pennsylvania. It allows him to be close to home, and he's at that point now. He wants to, finish out his coaching career, coaching the Eagles defense. So we're fortunate there. But
Yeah.
when it comes to Kellen Moore, I don't know if any amount of money would have convinced him to stay. But no, I don't. I'm not quite sure about that. I think that ultimately his dream was to be a head coach. So he took that opportunity when it presented itself.
Yeah. Philly 416's Buffalo changed OC at 500 and it got to the divisional round. Yeah, you are right. And it's very rare that shit works where you change coaches in year like that, change coordinators in year and you look like that. So it is a little tough at times to do that and stay on course the rest of the year. Depending if you have to change the entire offense or anything like that. We're not at that point yet. I'm hoping we don't get to that point. Because realistically, even if they lose the next couple games, I feel like Nick will still feel like they have a chance. And going to a bye week in a couple weeks, like you have a lot of time to change things, which kind of changed our season last year. We were 2-2, got into that bye week, and we had those, Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni had those big talks during the bye week, and then everything really changed. I mean, it was like a 10-game win streak after that. It was pretty much good fucking night, win a Super Bowl, and that was the fairy tale ending that we got from last year. So I don't want this to get out of I don't want this to get out of whack when, I don't know how we're gonna look Sunday. I mean, I don't care what I'm always reporting on what's being said throughout the week, but I'm always gonna give my opinion on it, maybe make jokes about it because I can't take this team seriously until I see what the finishing product is on the field. And like I don't know what's gonna make me happy. Like I'm not expecting some blowout on Sunday if the offense is back to normal because I think the defense is going to, defense isn't. I'm hoping now with Quinyon back, Jalen Carter back. Like I'm hoping that there's some productivity. I mean, we only have 5 sacks on the season. I think it's really not that much, and that edge rushing position has been hurting us. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. It is exciting. Like just because I say, hey, the team might be done in my eyes because I'm not really falling for it anymore. I'll turn to an Eagles fan that no one's gonna really like, but at the same time, I'm being realistic, and I don't want to kind of overstep and get my hopes up about things. You know?
Yes, absolutely. My thing is this. You know, I'm gonna sit back on Sunday and see what happens in that field. Like I said, I'm not expecting the team to be perfect. I'm not expecting to go out there and put 40, plus points on the Vikings. I'm not expecting that.
Oh, nine. We
Uh,
we
uh,
have
uh,
we have
what
we have 9 sacks, but 9 sacks total. We have 9 sacks. Do we? I don't know about that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. All I want to see from this team on Sunday is, I just want to see consistent play. I want to see the offense come out. I want to see them set the tone early in the game. March down that field, score touchdowns because, you know, settling for field goals will come back and bite you late in the game. I just want to see a complete game. Offense, special
Mhm.
teams, defense, everybody doing their job. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be mistake free. Penalty free. Because that's just no. I don't think that's realistic to ask to be mistake free. They're gonna make the mistakes, but I don't want to see them. Okay, we're gonna come out here, put up points, in the first half, and then just get completely conservative in the second half. And I feel like that's been a problem. Like, we'll go out there and play very well in the first half, or vice versa, the
You're
second
right.
half. Yeah, we'll go out there play very well, but then the second half we do absolutely nothing. That was the case. That was the case in the game against Tampa Bay, and we're very fortunate that that game turned out the way it turned out. Or the opposite. Being the Rams game, they came out in the Rams game, did nothing in that first half, but then second half they turned it up. So
Yeah.
all I just want to see is the offense sustain drives, consistent game plan, and the defense play consistent. I don't think that's asking for a lot. I
Yeah.
don't think it is.
No, no, it's really not. Even if you look at Howie Roseman, you look at the draft, you look at some of the trades he's made. I mean, I don't think anything's really worked out. I mean, John Mechie's a backup receiver, so I'm not really worried about that too much. Jacorian Bennett, obviously, I don't think they've really given him an opportunity. I know he's hurt now on IR on the injured reserve right now, so I think that's hurt us. Even if he was healthy, I don't even know if they would have even started Jacorian Bennett at CB2 regardless. I just think I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm like, Fangio always has this excuse that, oh, well, he doesn't have enough snaps. And, well, dude, it's like, are you that afraid to put Jacorian Bennett in over Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson at this point? I'm like, I'm not. I mean, you might as well. As long as Quignon's playing, I really don't give a shit. And look, and if he plays really bad, then just switch him out. I mean, who's the best of the bad that's on this roster right now? The draft ain't looking too great. I mean, besides Jahad Campbell,
Yeah.
what else out there? I mean, Ty Robinson isn't really, they're not really giving, he's too raw right now and he's a rookie. They're not going to give up on him, but he had a couple good pressures at the end of the game of the Giants game, but I feel like he maybe should get more playing time. Mac McWilliams, I don't know what's going on. Probably not much. Munden from Smile Munden from Georgia, mostly a special teamer at this point. I mean, Jahad Campbell, I think is really, this is the first time in a while that it's looking like a bad draft. Maybe it won't at the end of the year. Maybe I'll change my mind. I'm talking at the standpoint of right now going into this fucking game this Sunday, it's not looking too good, man. It's not. I mean, the fucking special teams. What do you think about special teams this year?
Well, special teams pretty much effectively won us that game against what was it, the Rams, right? They looked well in that game. The game against Tampa, we had that, we also had another block. We had another block in that game as well. Like, special teams has been no for me, it's been up and down. They've had flashes, good moments,
Mm,
but no, they no. It, no, they to me it's been very mixed results when it comes to special teams.
yeah,
The returning game has not quite been what I had hoped it would be this year. It hasn't quite been that. Jake Elliott, I think Jake Elliott quietly is actually. I thought he's actually had a pretty solid season so far.
yeah,
Very quickly. Braden Mann. I think Braden Mann is a very good punter. I do love Braden Mann a lot, but the special teams, we need them to step up as well. They've had their moments where they've made plays, but it would be nice to see them, step up and make more plays, going down the road, So
Yeah. Daniel Sanchez special teams has been average, but below average outside of field goal kicking. Yeah, no, you're correct. I mean, why the fuck did they trade for Tank Bigsby? Like, what was the fucking 2 late round picks? You wasted 2 late round picks. Now, originally, I thought Tank Bigsby was. I thought they brought him in because Will Shipley was missing a lot of time. Because originally, I saw like multiple reports that Will Shipley had the rib injury, and then he was going to be out like 6 to 11 weeks. That's what I thought. And I said, okay, they traded for Tank Bigsby. They need a number 2 back, and I wouldn't mind seeing Tank Bigsby play. Kind of get into the offense a little bit, but that didn't happen. I think Will Shipley was back in a couple weeks, and then they put him on kick returner. And between Mechie and Bigsby and even the last game against, I think, the Giants, right? I think on the last, I don't know if it was the last, I think it was the last time we had the ball. I'm not really sure, but I mean, they got so desperate they had to put in AJ Dillon back there. They had to put in a
yeah,
heavy bruiser back at kick return because they didn't know who else to put in. Like, come on, dude. Like, you're bringing in all these specialists, all these receivers / punt returner, kick returners this past offseason program. You couldn't find a fucking guy that has some speed that can go back there. Like, I think this should be Michael Clay's last year as a special teams coordinator. And number 2, he's actually one of the last, besides Jeff Stalin, he's one of the last remaining Chip Kelly coaches, part of that tree. I just feel like there's no creativity on top of everything else. Not even just the specialists on punt return, kick return. The blocking for punt return, kick return has been ultimately fucking bad. How many times has Jahan Dotson got a fucking call, fair catch at the 5, at the 10-yard line? On top of our offense playing the way they are right now, I mean, just bad field position on top of bad play later. It's just really fucking annoying. It just
yeah,
really is. It's not helping us at all. So I'm hoping they do a better job, but you know, it is what
yeah.
it is. I'm gonna ask you, is there so if the offense picks back up where they're at right now and they do a good job the next couple weeks, okay, at least for this week, and then like the trade deadline is right near, so the eyes and ears will be open for. There's already been a lot of news already that a lot of edge rushers are available. That the Eagles, there was one from Jeremy Fowler today that the Eagles might go after from the listings around the league from the Eagles and Howie Roseman, that he might go after both positions, CB2 and edge rusher. Is there anybody out there right now that you would trade for? Is there, are you looking for an immediate impact type guy? Are you looking for like a mid-tier type guy? Like, is there anybody out there that you want that could be available?
That right there is a damn good question. No, I'm looking for somebody that definitely, obviously, can come in and make an impact, immediately. No, definitely, Zadarius, when we signed him, that first game he got a sack, so definitely looking for somebody that could come in immediately. Now, as for any player in particular, that's a very good question. When I think off my head right now, I'm not thinking of anybody in particular that is, that's on the
Yeah.
trade block on your team at the moment. But but definitely somebody that could come in and can make an impact, immediately for
Yeah.
sure. That's one I would have to
Um,
sit back and look at, to really give a good answer on that one.
if I was to think on the top of my head right now who's available, so I mean, there's been a lot of rumblings on Trey Hendrickson. Obviously, that's a big one because he's 30 years old right now, and he's. I don't know what you're trying to do at this position. If you trade for an edge rusher, are you looking to extend? I mean, look, at this point, I'm going to ask you right now 2 questions. One, are you paying Nolan Smith? Yes or no?
Nolan Smith, Nolan Smith, would I pay Nolan Smith right now?
Right now, well, I'm saying, I'm like, do you think like Nolan Smith is by the end of the year? Do you think like Nolan Smith is going to have a big contract after this year? Do you think the Eagles would actually pay him after this year?
Um, I'm gonna say, yeah, he does get paid. I will say,
Really?
yes, he does. I think he does get paid. I think he's more likely to get paid than Jordan Davis right now. Being quite honest with you,
Yeah.
I do think that Nolan Smith does get paid this all season.
Yeah.
I think he gets paid, and I think obviously Jalen Carter's getting his payday. He's getting a big payday. So
Yeah.
yeah, if I had to say right now, I think Nolan Smith will get paid. He'll get a new contract. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're finding out now without Nolan Smith being in the lineup that we have no stability on that outside. Maybe the sacks aren't coming there, but maybe we're not getting beat as much on the outside and he can kind of contain more than he can rush the passer and get sacks. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if he comes back and gets like, say he gets like 5 sacks of the year. I mean, you're not, he's not getting over 30 plus million, 40 plus $1 million. He's not getting
No.
that type of money. I mean, he's not getting, Max Crosby fucking money like that, Myles Garrett type money. It's probably not going to happen.
Mm,
Nakobe Dean's not going to get paid unless he's brought back really cheap.
I
That's
agree with that.
that's probably another one because I'm glad that he's coming back, and that'll be another thing that we'll talk about. But and then you have Reed Blankenship, obviously. Like they might, he's a captain for this team. Like I don't see him being the highest paid safety, but I don't see him. I don't know if I see him going anywhere else at this point because if Makuba was there right now and he was playing at a high level right now, I would say that, maybe they don't. Maybe Makuba kind of takes over and then they get another safety. I don't know. Um, so it's only a couple contracts, and Jordan Davis on the 5th-year option next year. So he's still got another year with the Eagles, and and I think because everything else has been so horrible defensively with the edge rushers, like Jordan Davis hasn't really done much in a good week or two. But he was on pace to really do very well, and I think he will do well the rest of the season. We'll see with Jordan Davis because I think he's going to have a really good year this year. Yeah, there's TJ Watt. Sorry, not TJ Watt. There's Trey Hendrickson. Oh, I just said TJ Watt. There's
I wish.
Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher from the Jets, is another one. He hasn't really had a good year this year, but obviously the Jets, they're 0-6 right now. They're playing really bad, and that's an edge rusher over there. Apparently, there's been talks about him being moved or traded. Cornerback, really edge rusher wise, I don't really know who else. On the free agent market, Yannick Ngakwe still out there, but how much have we been talking about Yannick Ngakwe the last fucking 5-6 years? He's been making some tweets here or there that maybe, and he would probably be the cheaper option if the Eagles want to go cheaper at the position. Yannick is right there to kind of help, and he's been that one year deal type edge rusher that's average 5 to 7 sacks a year, whatever, from team to team to help out. Don't know if he'll come up with those statistics this year. Cornerback wise, Tariq Woolen from Seattle. He's another one, and I don't even think he's even starting right now. The 23 he started, 24 he started, and then 25 he started the first game, and I think he was beat out of his job. I think there was some mental thing was going on with him. So I don't know if he would be a good. There's got to be somebody out there that's better than Adoree Jackson, Keely Ringo at this point. So Tariq Woolen would be another one. L'Jarius Sneed from the Titans would be, I guess, maybe another one. They have they just fired their head coach, and the only problem with L'Jarius Sneed is his contract is kind of high right now. His cap hits for the next 2 years are like over $20 million. So they might have to extend him and then lessen those cap hits. So I'm really trying to figure out like who they actually want. If they were realistically going after Micah Parsons, if they were realistically going after him, from all the reports that came out, Micah Parsons went to the Packers, okay, when he was traded to the Packers, like apparently the Eagles had so much interest and they actually had a deal on the table for him. And obviously probably wasn't in comparison to other teams that were offering him. And obviously Jerry Jones wanted a DT, and there was no way we were trading one of our fucking DTs to give back to them. So I don't know what type of, do I see them giving up a first round pick for a player right now? I honestly don't know. I really don't. I don't know what you see of that, but.
Well, you was talking about Micah Parsons. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I don't think there was any chance in hell Jerry Jones was gonna trade Micah Parsons to the Eagles.
Yeah, maybe not.
I don't think he's gonna trade him within the division, but definitely not to the Eagles. I know the reports were out there about that, but I take that with a grain of salt that there was any chance that was gonna happen. You was talking about the corners. There's 2 guys right now that are free agents, and I just want to get your opinion. Stephon Gilmore. The problem with him, he's 35 years old, but also Asante Samuel Jr. He's out there as a free agent as well.
Hmm.
And right now he is he's coming off of an injury. I guess the teams are waiting until he is cleared from his injuries, but he's also a free agent. What do you think about either one of those guys?
Well, yeah, Asante Samuel. So I think he's still. I don't know if he's available yet. I know he did more testing off of that neck surgery or whatever he had. I don't know if it was an injury for a stinger or something. I forgot, it was like a shoulder neck injury, or I could be wrong. I thought it was a surgery for something kind of serious that he had back in April. So hence why he really didn't have a lot of offers and wasn't ready to play. So I know he's training and stuff now, but I don't know how much his availability is there. I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, if you grab a guy coming off injury that really needs to kind of show him, he probably would have got some money, but that injury kind of screwed everything up when he had the surgery. That I guess he wanted to kind of hit the reset button, say, look, I'll get the surgery. I'll try to um I'll try to bet on myself again with another team and see what happens. But and who was the other one you said?
Stephon Gilmore.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, if they're in desperation mode and they don't want to make a trade, they don't want to get somebody that's a little bit younger that has maybe a couple more years on their contract, maybe maybe they go after something like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I actually see this team being that aggressive and going after somebody, giving away a first round pick for somebody. They need somebody that's better than what they have. Like, they can't go get a practice. I mean, the most moves they fucking make every week is the fucking practice squad. Every week it's almost like they're signing edge rushers and tight ends and this one. And Eli Ricks has been fucking released and signed off the roster like fucking 10 times the last couple weeks. Like, what is
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's probably going through hell right now, not knowing what the fuck he's doing. Do I have a job? Do I not have a job? So I honestly have no idea. I, I don't know how aggressive they're going to be, and I'm very nervous about making a trade right now because of, like, if this offense doesn't do shit the next week, at least for this week, I'm not going to feel comfortable making a trade like that. If the offense isn't up to par, you're going to give away draft capital where your offense is still going to be in the fucking hole.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. It really debates on how the offense plays, that they go out and make a move, but I don't know what kind of move they're really looking for when it comes to, like, mid-tier, like, immediate fucking superstar impact. I don't know what they're looking for.
Well, let me ask this: is there any player on this team right now that that you can see as being a potential trade deadline player that like if they decide to trade somebody, they're most likely to be traded before the trade deadline?
Jahan Dotson, maybe?
Jahan Dawson, yeah,
I
yes,
mean, it's a contract year for him. Do you need him? I mean, Jahan Dotson's been a major impact. As much as he's not getting the yards the last couple of years, like, he's been a major impact because he's the reason why you can move AJ Brown to the inside. You can move Devontae Smith to the inside. He's the main reason why you can move those guys around. Without him, you're just going to double on somebody most of the time. But obviously, with the bad play calling we have, you could probably double on anybody at this fucking point because the route combinations are so fucking bad. Um, I think, I would try to, maybe you trade Jahan Dotson, get something for him. Maybe add him as a little bit of spice in a trade for a player or something. I mean, he's on, like I said, he's on a contract year. He's not what's his contract going to be playing in this fucking offense? I mean, at the end of the year, what is? I mean, I know there's he came in late last year, and when you come in late, like, you're like, his opportunities came in the playoffs at the Super Bowl, and look what happened. You know what I mean? So there wasn't a lot of tape on Jahan Dotson for a lot of teams to look at last year, at the end of last year, because they barely used him, but they took the advantage of that, and they put him on a couple passes in the Super Bowl. The one touchdown pass in Green Bay when Hurts had like 6-7 seconds to throw the ball almost in the red zone. So there was a lot of good plays to take from that, but there would be more trust between those two guys this year. He's only had a few catches, so I think he's had one long ball downfield and a few little small catches, but not much. So maybe you want to try to get Darius Cooper more involved. Maybe you want to see if Darius Cooper can be the number 3 guy, or get John Mechie more involved. I mean, yeah, I think you have 2 guys right now, especially John Mechie's got a lot of starting capability. Play with Devontae Smith at Alabama. Has got really good chemistry. And Darius Cooper was the big surprise of camp. He was the big surprise out of nowhere. It's like a mini AJ Brown out there. The guy is physical. Guy is great in open space. Darius Cooper was like the star of the offseason and a gem that I want to see what he could do. So if I was to trade anybody from this team right now, it would probably be Jahan Dotson. And that's only if they feel like, but they got to do it now. They can't wait. They got to, the trade deadline's very soon. So if they want to get some type of value for Jahan, then that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my take on it, really. But,
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's like it's going to be interesting to see what they do these next next couple weeks, but it's going to come down to obviously starting off with this Vikings game. How they playing this game, and you know if the team can, they if what they're saying, what they're telling the media and stuff is what they're saying is true, and it looks like the team is, they're back on the right path. They're playing, good football. Then I definitely can see Roseman trying to make a move or two to improve this team, to make a run late in the season. So it's gonna come. It's gonna be very interesting to say the least. Next couple of weeks for sure. So
yeah, I mean, before we go, I'm going to look at something here from Prophet X this week regarding Thursday night's matchup between Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday night, where I kind of looking at the wide receivers, and I'm looking at how bad this Bengals defense is going to be. Joe Flacco, the new quarterback, coming in on Thursday night. And I have DK Metcalf, longest reception. The under or over for 25.5 yards. I think I'll take the over on that. I think he's going to do a fantastic job. I think the passing game is going to totally obliterate the Bengals defense in this game. So I definitely take DK Metcalf having a really good game. Get up to $200 Profit X Cash. Use code Shake72. Click the link in the description below. I want to thank Profit X for sponsoring this live stream. So I thank them very much on that. Yeah, so I mean that's really it. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean,
yeah,
that's it. It just comes down to it. Really, I mean, the defense. I feel like we know that the defense has really got us out of a lot of games. At least 5 games we've been saved by this defense. Okay, and we know that's not going to last long. That's at some point, like if the offense isn't going to produce, whether it's execution, play calling, or everything together, that this defense at some point is going to need the offense's help in this game to get points on the board, and special teams has to help off of that with good field position, at least for give me a return for 10, 15 yards. I would fucking appreciate it. I mean, at least to the 30-yard. I mean, I don't know. I hate the new kicking rules as is right now. I think what's even last game against the Giants, I mean, you got to run like 4 tush pushes to fucking score a touchdown. I mean, look, I love the play. I get it, but you got to,
yeah.
I mean, it was overkill. It was like, dude, like, this is like, I looked at my girlfriend. I was like, this is like really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, I love the play, but it's just too fucking much for me. I don't know. But
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy, 4 straight plays in front of that tush push. It was,
yeah,
there were
yeah,
players tweeting talking this is not football. So it was definitely overkill, no doubt about it, but
yeah. Daniel Jones is 17 against the Broncos, 17 against the Giants. Yeah, I mean, you're not scoring much of anything because your adjustments are just really fucking bad. So Daniel Jones, the 4 tush pushes in a row made me want to ban it. Yeah, I mean, it was overkill. It was. I mean, enjoy it
so now
right now.
Eagle fans are saying they want to ban it now.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a play where, like, if you wanna use it on short field all the time, you gotta run it. The last time we ran it multiple times was, I think, the NFC Championship game when fucking what's his face was jumping over the pile like 5 times. And that's
Yeah,
fine. It was funny at that point, but it's like 4 times from like the
yeah,
5. It's like it's crazy. Fucking nuts. You know? But yeah, I mean, I think that's been over an hour already. I think that's gonna be it. So yeah, I wanted to do like a little collab tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll get I'll get more into the chat, and I really just want to kind of go through just what's been going on, and kind of go through the gist of like the entire regular season, really from the off season to the regular season, and what we're kind of up against this week. And I'm hoping that it comes out. We do well. I hope that whatever positive shit they're doing this week, um, is gonna do well here. But Farrow says, "What do you think of somebody like Caleb Farley? Anybody better than Adoree or I think anybody at this point. I don't even know. I don't even care who they. There's got to be somebody out there that they want. I don't think there's anybody out there. I think corner would be the easier trade because I don't think there's anybody out there that they have to spend so much on. I'm not even talking about what they're getting paid, but I'm talking about what you have to give up. If you have to trade for a guy, I mean, what I didn't. Then I'll make this. I'll just say this quick. Like Greg Newsome got fucking traded from the Browns last week to the Jags, and we were talking about that trade literally since training camp. When we were in training camp with the Browns before we played them, we're like, Greg Newsome might be available. Go trade for him, and he got traded. And then Denzel Ward is still there with the Browns, so the Browns lose more games. At least another game this week. I don't know who they play this week, but I would try to go get Denzel Ward if they can. But
yeah.
beggars can't be choosers, so I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I have Spunky. I have Spunky's channel in the description below. He does upload. What do you upload? What do you do on your channel, Spunk?
Well, I do the weekly picks. I do my preview video as well for the upcoming game, and I also do my post game reaction to whatever happens. Obviously the Eagles matchup. So I put up at least 3 videos a week. During the football season. So yeah, anybody want to come subscribe to me? I definitely appreciate support. Spunky1991.
Yeah, link in the description. His tag is in the description below. Check out the Philly Shakedown podcast merch, guys. We got new stuff. Check the first link; is the newest thing we have out right now. And yeah, we'll probably have another stream on for myself, probably on Friday, most likely. And then about to get ready for the weekend. So we'll see. Farrow says every time I join a stream, it's ending. Man, have a good night. No, I appreciate it, man. No, we'll be doing more of these. So I was glad Spunky jumped on. So I want to thank Spunky a lot for jumping on. And it's been fucking long
7 years.
time, 7
Yeah,
fucking years, bro.
yeah.
Long
I
time.
definitely appreciate you having me, man. It's definitely
Yeah,
a lot of fun doing this for sure. I had a lot
yeah.
of fun. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like up the stream if you guys haven't, and we'll be back with more this week. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Jake's Code Up, follow side. Peace out.